to another game in the NBC Game of the Week for 1973, featuring this time the Pittsburgh Pirates and the San Francisco Giants. We did have a reschedule. Originally scheduled was Boston and Kansas City, but a couple of things. The pennant race is going to dictate this because the pennant races are mainly in the National League, and also with playing the 1967 inside pitch, I felt like people might be getting a Boston overload. So great game on tap, San Francisco and Pittsburgh. And if we look at the season standings up to date, what we have, let me get on my computer here so I can see what you guys are seeing. Okay, looks like everything. I might even be able to lower the camera, the phone a little bit, maybe to get things a little closer in. I don't know. But if you see in the standings, St. Louis leads Pittsburgh by 1 game and the Mets by 7.5. San Francisco leads the Dodgers by 4. So you've got a second-place team and a first-place team, battling it out. And I printed this in black and white because I think it shows up better than the color would off the Strat computer. So that's where we stand right there. And the American League, Boston and Baltimore in a virtual tie with the Tigers 7.5 back. Oakland has already wrapped that up pretty much. They're 14 games up. So I've done my scheduling based on, I was doing American League, National League, rotating back and forth during the first half of the season. But now that we're in the pennant push, I'm going to eschew that and go with whatever the best matchup is. So next week, now according to them, to bring out the National League standings again. They're the National League standings. So next week, it'll be the St. Louis Cardinals at the Cincinnati Reds. A good pitching matchup, Rick Wise against Don Gullett. So that'll be next Saturday. And speaking of next Saturday, hello, Mr. Gudeman. Nice to see you here. I have a co-op venture on his channel, Jeffrey Gudeman's channel, where we're going to have the 1969 American League Championship Series, Game 1. It's going to be scheduled for 9 a.m. this coming Saturday. Be the Baltimore Orioles hosting the Minnesota Twins. I will manage the Baltimore Orioles, and he will manage the Minnesota Twins. Hello, Robert. Hello, Kenyon, Dwayne, Brian B., and Brandon Baker. Good to see all of you. Since we did that one video earlier, hopefully we got the kinks out, and hopefully with this one coming up, we'll be a little bit more proficient. Not that we weren't, but it got off to a slow start because I had problems with the link he sent me, but we've got it all straightened out now, I do believe, and I think we're going to be in good shape for next Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, at 1 o'clock that same day, it'll be the Reds and the Cardinals on the NBC Game of the Week. All right, so it showed the standings. I'm not sure. I think that pretty much covers what needs to be shown. Other than here you have your lineups. You got your starting lineups, your benches, and your bullpens. Jim Barr against Nelson Briles. I already put in the ballpark effects. I mean, it's fuzzy. I can see that. Let me fix it. I put something in front of that, and it screwed up the focus. Now I got it. Okay, so ballpark effects. I went with just regular effects, not the weather this time. So 1 to 4 for both lefties and righties for singles, 1 to 5 for lefty-righty home runs. The only thing I haven't done yet is the pitcher-catcher quotient. So let's look at the Giants. Jim Barr, his hold rating for Jim Barr is a +2, and then we take Rader, who's also a +2 on the defense. So we have a +4 on the quotient. It still looks like it's a little bit out of focus. Let me fix this again. I think putting those cards up there messes stuff up, so I might stop doing that. Nelson Briles, he's a -2 hold. Milt May's a +1, so we got a -1 for Nelson Briles. And my pencil that I really love is just about dying on me. It took me forever to get this score sheet in place, so I'm gonna have to switch over and do pen. Not my first choice, but you got to do what you got to do until I can get a decent pencil. I've got some other pencils, but they're really light when they write, and it's hard to see. Why is this thing still out of focus? I haven't figured out why this thing is still out of focus. Let's get this thing straight here. Let me make sure. Oh, wait a minute. My thing is, I'm like a minute behind here. Hold on. Let me make sure that we're in good shape here before I start the game. Okay, so I think if I push this over for now, I'll have to move it later, but right now I can keep it in place. I can also move this over just a hair. Tabby is in the room. She's laying down quiet, resting. I don't really want to disturb her, so probably won't be any Tabby sightings. Maybe at the end of the game when I don't have to worry about repositioning the phone anymore or anything like that. So hopefully now that this is the setup I want. Why is my thing not doing what it's supposed to be doing? Okay, come on. This thing is really messing me up here. Okay. I think I need to lower this a bit. So bear with me. We'll get it straight. We will get it straight. Okay, so now that looks like it's halfway decent from what I can tell. I apologize that the writing here is kind of light on the with the pencil, but I will certainly read off the ratings. Pittsburgh colored dice, since the Pirates are the home team. Kind of like to give them the mojo of having their own colored dice. So we will see if that helps them or hurts them. We shall see. Again, the Giants lead the Dodgers by 4 in the West, and Pittsburgh trails the Cardinals by a meager 1 game in the East. So that's why it's an important game here. Even though we're in the middle of August, we still got the September pennant run to go. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing going. Nelson Briles is your starter. He was 14-13 with a 2.85 ERA. And I think I'm going to have to actually move this. So Brian B., hope you got a good look at it because I'm going to move this. I need some room here. So Nelson Briles finishing up the warm-up tosses. And leading off for the Giants will be Gary Maddox. And I think I can lower this a little bit more in the early innings just to get closer. I'm going to have to move it as we get further along so I can show the rest of the score sheet on the innings. But I think I can lower it initially to, I hope so anyway, because I like to get as close to the cards as I possibly can without cutting anything else off. So hopefully now that is good to go. All right, enough preamble. Yeah, you never see a camera issues like that on the other channel. I'm cheap on this channel. This channel is cheap. It's very frugal. It's the frugal Strat-O-Matic frugal channel. So that's what we get. We don't have a 4K camera or anything. I got my phone. That's about it. My little couple-year-old, what do you call it? Couple-year-old Android phone. That's what I'm using. Oh, let me bring this up so you can see the line score. That would help, wouldn't it? All right, we're going to get going here. Enough of this mess. Gary Maddox against Nelson Briles. Game of the week underway. And we get a... Wait a minute, I got 2 D20. Boy, I tell you, I'm getting really messed up here. Hold on. Tabby got me all mixed up this morning. I had 2 D20s and 2 D6s. Obviously, that's a bad roll. We got to re-roll that. Pretend that never happened. And we'll get this thing going the correct way. Here we go. 6-7, Nelson Briles. That's a ground ball, second base X. And right away, we got a defensive check for the second baseman, Stennett. He is a 4 E19, so it could be problematic trying to get to this. A 4 and an E19. Looking for a high number, didn't get it. 4 and a 6. That is an S1. It's going to be single. That's a total of 9. And he was an E19. There is no 9, but it will be a base hit. Leadoff single for Maddox as he snuck it by Rennie Stennett, whose range is limited. Maddox has a chance to see what he can do here. Now, it's a -1 quotient, so this could be a total of -3 if he gets the lead. 2 for being held and 1 from the pitcher-catcher quotient, so it'll be a 1 to 14, but I think that's worth the gamble. 1 to 14, 2 through 5, 11, or a 12 to get the lead. And he does with a 2, so he will get the lead. Means he has to steal. It's a 17, -3 for 14, 1 to 14, and he's in there. And he is. It's a possible throwing error on the catcher, Milt May. His T rating is a 19. If we look at Milt May, his T rating is 1 to 19. About the worst you're going to have. I mean, it's kind of hard to get anything worse than that, 1 to 19. So, pretty much going to be a throwing error. That's a 20. How about that? I spoke too soon. That was a 20. So, somehow, in some way, shortstop Dow Maxfield stopped that. kept it from going into center field. So it is a stolen base, though. So Maddox is now at second base with nobody out. For Tito Fuentes. Hello, John. How you doing? Chuck? Anybody I might have missed? All right, Nelson Briles. Strategy roll, nothing on the Havoc. All right, here is Fuentes. Switch hitter. 1-5 for Fuentes. Struck him out. Big strikeout there for Nelson Briles. And there's one away for the big guy, Bobby Bonds. And Havoc rolled, nothing happening. Briles to Bonds. Maddox will be held, I do believe, at second base. So that means the second baseman, Sennett, is responsible on any X chance. 5-9. That is a ground ball shortstop A. And with a runner at second and an A, he has to hold. So he will stand pat. 2 down for Willie McCovey. First base is open. Hello, DJ from the left coast. First base is open. And no sense pitching to McCovey. They're going to go after Gary Matthews. Go for the righty-on-righty matchup. They will give the 4 fingers to McCovey. But it is 1973. They do have to actually throw the 4 pitches. So Briles does have to go through that routine. Can't just do the 4 fingers like they're doing now. All right, here is Gary Matthews. Chance to get the Giants in the lead. Get a 4-5, but he does not. He grounds it to third. Hebner's got it, the Gravedigger, and he's going to throw to second for the fielder's choice to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Giants here in the top of the first. They leave 2 men on, and it could come back to bite them later on. You never know. Jim Barr for the Giants, 11-17, 382 for the earned run average. He will be set to go. He's got a +4 on his pitcher hold rating because he's +2 and Rader is +2. So the Pirates could be looking to run. So here we go. Jim Barr to Rennie Stennett. We get a 3-3 for Stennett against a right-hander. He's going to foul it out to the third baseman, Mike Phillips, for out number 1. Here's the Gravedigger, Richie Hebner. And the reason I call him the Gravedigger, and I learned this from Jeffrey Gudeman, is that in the offseason he had I think it was a family business where they were actually physically digging graves at cemeteries. So that's why he's called the Gravedigger. Jim Barr, 6'7", lefty, is a ground ball second base X. That's Fuentes. He's a 2E6. 2E6. 2E6 for Fuentes. We'll see if he can get to it. 2 and a 12. That is actually a G1, so he gets to it. E6. He's got to avoid 3, 16, and 18. And he does. So it's a good play for Fuentes. Got a tough hop off the AstroTurf seam, but made the play. And here's Al Oliver. Jim Barr to Al Oliver. Definitely in the Hall of Very Good. Borderline Hall of Famer. Barr, 3-6, and that's a solid double to left field for Al Oliver. And he's aboard. He runs at a 14. Now we're in the same situation we had earlier. First base is open for Stargell. You're not going to pitch to Stargell. They'll take their chance with Richie Zisk. So one strategy on one team deserves the same strategy on the other. They will walk Stargell, take the bat out of Pop's hands. And now Richie Zisk is up. 1 chance for a wild pitch, and Jim Barr's wild pitch rating is a 2. There is no wild pitch. So Richie Zisk is up in a clutch situation. And he's got some reversals here. 9 and 10 in column 1 are strikeouts that reverse to hits, should he find that. But he got a 2-7 instead, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. So the strategy pays off once again. Tell you what, you don't see managing like that on that other channel. All right, no runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We've played 1, and it's no score from Three River Stadium, or the stadium that's beside three of the rivers, however you want to call it. Hello, Ben. How you doing? I'm not sure why the notification would go out late. I actually set this up. I knew I couldn't start right at 1 o'clock, so I went ahead and set up for a 1:15 just to try to be on a, what you call a, quarter hour or half. I didn't want to go to 1:30, so I started at 1:15. That gave me a chance to finish setting up everything and not feel rushed, and gave everybody a chance to get notified, hopefully. But if you're saying you just got notified, I'm not sure what happened on that. All right, here's Chris Spire against Briles, 4-9. A 1's a single. Anything else, he lines to third, and he definitely lines it to third. And the gravedigger, Richie Hebner, will haul it in. Speaking of third, here's third baseman Mike Phillips, well-traveled infielder. 4-8 to a lefty, ground ball to second, and Rennie Stennett handles it. 2 down. For the catcher, Dave Rader. Barr is on deck. He uses pitch reading card number 2. 3-2, and that's a low max. Line out to second max. Nobody else is on base, so it's just a regular out. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Nelson Briles. So we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. And Bob Robertson, power hitting first baseman. Barr, 1-5, and that's a leadoff walk. Boy, leadoff walks, statistically, leadoff walks often come back to score. Robertson will not be held. He does not run well at all. He is not being held at first base. And here's Milt May, the catcher. Nothing on the havoc. Barr to May. 5-8 to a lefty is a fly to center. Hauled in out there by Gary Maddox. 1 away for Dow Maxville. Shortstop. Nothing there. 5-6 to a righty is a ground ball, shortstop B, so it's a fielder's choice. 6-4. Maxville's the new runner. He's not going to be held either. And with 2 outs, we got the pitcher. And he's using pitcher hitting card number 3, Nelson Briles. Pitcher hitting card number 3. Nothing on the havoc. Here is Barr to Briles. 4-10, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Pirates. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the third. No score from Pittsburgh. And leading off will be the pitcher, Jim Barr, using pitcher hitting card number 2. (3-8), and that's a ground ball to third, 1 away. I know it looks kind of weird seeing the pencil for the lineup and the pen for the scoring, but if I tried to score this with the pencil, you probably wouldn't be able to see anything. I probably should have done the whole thing in pen, but I was trying to get through it, and it just faded on me, so we'll figure it out for next week for sure. All right. Here's Maddox. He singled and stole second his first time up. 2-7, and this time he's going to fly to center. Hauled in out there by Mr. Oliver. 2 up and 2 down for Tito Fuentes. He struck out his first chance. 2-10, and that is a ground ball to short to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third, still no score. As both pitchers doing pretty well right now. Top of the order, Rennie Stennett. He fouled out to the third baseman Phillips his first chance. 3-10, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-4. That's a 1, so it will be a single for Rennie Stennett. How about that? That D20, I'm telling you, it comes up more. It comes up as a 1 more often than any other number. I don't care what anybody else says. I'll have to look into that. The pencil I have, I love, but the lead's just about out of it. It's a Clickster grip, whatever the heck that is. It says 0.7 millimeter, number 2. It does really well, but it's almost out of lead, and when I try to use it, it doesn't really do much for me. So I'm looking to either find something similar to that or something like that. I'll go to the dollar store and figure it out, or the $1.25 store now it is. So, all right. So Rennie Stennett will not try to get the lead, I don't think, or will he? Actually, he might because of that +4 factor. So if he gets the lead, it would be a 1-17 and then -2, 1-15. but he needs a 7 to get the lead, and a 9 he'll be caught stealing. They're going to try it. He needs a 7. Cannot get the 7, so he cannot get the lead. He will hold. And Richie Hebner is your batter, but they are holding him on. That's a 3-4, and that's a single 2 stars. That's going to put runners at the corners with nobody out. Richie Hebner will not be held. He's a terrible base runner. But runners are at the corners, and the Pirates looking to dent the scoreboard first. Let's see what the Giants want to do here. They're going to play back. They need outs. They'll trade the run to get 2 outs. A little early to play in. 4-9 against the lefty. It doesn't matter. It's a single 2 stars. And the merry-go-round continues as Al Oliver. What do you mean I'm not a Hall of Famer? Look at that. Single and a double. And an RBI. And now Hebner takes third base. Oliver not being held. And here's Wilbur Stargell. They can't walk him now. They got to face the music. Right now the Pirates are passing their bar exam. Again, the infield is back for the double play. 6-3. That's a fly ball left field X. That is Matthews. He's a 2-E6. 2-E6 for Gary Matthews. See if he can get to this. 2 and an E6. 2 and a 12 is an F2. So we'll see if that's a sacrifice fly. F2s would be a sacrifice fly. Let's check errors. He's an E6. So he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And that is a 13, so he is in good shape on that. But it is going to be a sacrifice fly. F2s are sacrifice flies. So sacrifice fly for Stargell. Coming in to score is Hebner. It's 2-0 Pirates now with 1 out. Hello, Jeremy. How you doing? Richie Zisk, the batter. Again, Oliver not being held. Bar to Zisk. 4-2, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-7 is a single. That's a 14, though, so it's a liner to short for out number 2. 2 down for Bob Robertson. Nothing on the Havoc. Robertson walked his first chance. Bar 5-12. Ground ball first base X. Oliver was not being held, so the first baseman McCovey's going to keep his 4E19, as bad as that is, but he won't be a 5 at least. He has a 4E19. Ooh, can he get to it? 4 and a 12. 4 and a 12 is a G3. He does get to it. Now he's an E19, which means he has to avoid 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Well, that's a lot of numbers to avoid. That is a 10, and he's an E19. He does not avoid it. That's going to be a 1-base error on McCovey. He boots it. That E19 got to him. So it's an E3, and that's going to keep the inning going. Oliver will take second base. And now Milt May will step to the plate. Runners at first and second. 2 down and 2 in. Barr has to get Milt May. 5-6 to the lefty. He does. Ground ball to second to end the inning, but 2 runs come in for the Pirates. They do it on 3 hits and an error and 2 left. We've completed 3 from 3 Rivers, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh in the lead. And for anybody that came in late, this is the board, the lineups, the benches, and the bullpens, so you know who is available when it comes to strategy. And of course, you know this channel excels in strategy more so than any other channel out there. This is the channel for strategy. If you want good baseball strategy, you're in the right place. So that's there in case you needed to take a look at that. All right, Nelson Briles will be facing Bobby Bonds to lead off. Bobby Bonds grounded to short his first time up. 2-8 for Bonds, and he draws the leadoff walk. Boy, I tell you, that leadoff walk can come back to bite you. Bonds definitely is looking to run. Look at that numbers. He's in advance. He's AA, so you know he's good to run. If he gets the lead, it'd be a 17. -1, though, would be a 16, and then -2 for being held would be a 14. That's still worth it. So they're going to try to get the lead. 2 through 6 or an 11 to get the lead. Yeah, that's right, Tabby. You're not going to find Tabby on another channel either. All right, 2 through 6 or an 11. That's an 11. He gets the lead. So it's a 1-14 for Bobby Bonds to steal it. And he gets caught stealing. Milt May says, not so fast, my friend. Rennie Stennett puts on the tag, and Bonds is out. Well, he stole 43 bases, but he did get caught 17 times, so not the best percentage in the world, but he was aggressive, and it cost him. All right, here's Willie McCovey. He got walked his first time. This is his first legitimate at-bat. 5-7, and that's a fly to center. 2 down, and that brings up the Sarge, Gary Matthews. .310 for Matthews is a walk. So another walk in the inning. Matthews will be held, but does he want to try to steal? He needs a 4 or a 6 to get the lead. They're going to try it again, 4 or a 6. He does not get the lead, so he holds. And Chris Spire is your batter. He lined to Hebner his first chance. That's a 6-7, and that's a ground ball, second base X. So he is being held. So second baseman Stennett now is a 5 E19 because he had to hold the runner. So he is a 5. So the only way he will make this play with a 5, he's got to have a 13 or higher on the D20, because if you hit these pounds, it's going to get through for being the guy responsible. He needs a 13 or higher. 12, he doesn't get it. That's going to get through for a base hit, two asteroids or 2 stars, however you want to call it. And his error rating's at E19. It could add insult to injury. E19, he needs to avoid 6, 15, 17, 18, or 3. And that is a 17. I'm sorry, that is a 13. And he was an E19. He avoided the error, but it's a 2-star single for Chris Spire. And the inning continues with 1 out now and runners at the corners. And boy, that caught stealing really cost him. Really cost him there. Spire will not be held. He's not very good with the running. Yeah, no barfing on this channel. We keep everything clean. All right, so runners at the corners with 1 out. Infield is back, obviously, with a 2-run lead. They want to try to get the double play on Phillips. Bryles, 3-4. That's a ballpark single check. 1-4. That's a 13, though, so it's a liner to second base, and nobody can move up. So 2 down. Status quo. Now the infield can go be more relaxed and look for that 3rd out. Nothing on the havoc. Bryles will be facing Dave Rader. Dave Rader, his first time up, line to second. Get a 3-7, and that's a 1-2 single, but that is a 2. Look at that. Evil D20 strikes again. A 1-2 single on a 3-7, a 1-2 single, and that's a 2. It's going to be a base hit for Rader that will score the run. Giants are on the board as Matthews comes in to score. Spire will stop at second because it's only 1 star. And that'll bring up Jim Barr. So Jim Barr, pitcher hitting card number 2. Bryles, 3-7. That's a ground ball to second, and that's going to end the inning. But the Giants pick up a run, cut into that lead. They do it on just 2 hits. But there were 2 walks in there as well, but the caught stealing really cost them. They could have tied the game without the caught stealing. But sometimes you be aggressive, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it does not. Ben, we're definitely, we have talked about that. Same way I'm doing it with Mr. Gudeman. We're talking about that. Maybe when his 69 replay is over, maybe do a World Series where I'm the Orioles and he's the Mets, or I can be the Braves and play the Mets in an NLCS type thing. Maybe something along those lines. We'll see. It's in the planning stages, but you know, right now he's busy with his doing his season, so I don't want to interrupt that. And I got stuff going on too with I want to get that 67 inside pitch thing done so I can move on to other things past that as well. All right, here is Barr to Maxwell. 4-2, and that is a split chance. 1-7 is a single. That's a 14, though, so it's a liner to short. And Maxwell is retired. Brings up Nelson Bryles using pitcher hitting card number 3. Flew to left his first time up. Bar 1-7, and that's a ground ball to second for out number 2. 2 down and for Rennie Stennett. Stennett fouled to third and singled and scored his last time up. Bar 6-3 is a fly ball left field X. That is Matthews. He's a 2E6. So we bring out the chart again. 2E6. Can he get to it? 2 and a 9. 2 and a 9 is an F2. He will get to it. As an E6, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And he does. So it's good play for Gary Matthews. The Sarge puts it away to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down go the Pirates. We played 4 from Three Rivers. It's 2-1. Favor of the Buccos. And we're at the top of the order for the Giants. And Nelson Briles against Maddox. Maddox is single, stole second, and flown to center. Let's see, 4-4, and that is a catcher X. Catcher is May. He's a 3E8. So we'll bring in the board for the catcher. He is a 3E8. 3 and 18 is a G3, so it'd be a good ground out if he can make the play. E8, he's got to avoid 6, 15, and 18. And he does. It's a 7. He just did avoid it. So it's going to be a 2-3 ground out. As Milt May pounces on it and throws Maddox out for out number 1. Here's Tito Fuentes. Switch hitter. He struck out and grounded to short. 4-11 against the switch hitter is another fly ball left field X. So we're right back to Gary Matthews. We haven't been that long since we visited Gary Matthews, and we're right back to him again for the outfield chart. And Matthews is a 2. 2 and a 20, he definitely gets that. It's an F3. And he is an E6. So again, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And he does. That's an 11. So nice play for Matthews. He takes care of things. 2 X chances, 2 successful X chances. I'm sorry, that wasn't Matthews. That was Stargell. What was I doing? I was looking at the wrong team. My bad. Stargell. Let's try that again. Well, I know he got to it because we had a 20. So it was an F3 either way, even though it was a 4. That's an 11. Stargell is an E8, and there is no 11. So Stargell still makes the play. So just got confused there for a quick second, but we're straight now. Stargell makes the play. 2 up and 2 down. And that will send up Bobby Bonds. Got caught stealing his last time up. 3-6. And that's a 1-4 triple. That's a 3. So that'll be a 2-out triple for Bobby Bonds. A 2-out triple. Just like that. Giants are knocking on the door. All right, here is Briles to McCovey. First base is open. They could really technically walk him, but they're going to go in and pitch to him. 2-2, and that is a ball. That is a single, but it's a clutch effect. So it's McCovey with the clutch, and we are in a clutch situation. So that single goes away, and it turns into a line out to second base. How do you like that, folks? The anti-clutch comes in for McCovey on the 2-2 result. 2-2, line out clutch. So McCovey cannot bring the run home. And the 2-out triple goes to waste. How about that? All right, here is Jim Barr back out. Barr and Briles both have fatigue numbers of 7, so they're good to go for a while, as long as they're effective. Here is Richie Hebner, the Gravedigger. He's grounded to second, and he's singled and scored in the third. Grounded in the first, rather. 2-8, and that's going to be a line out to first. So McCovey, still smarting from the clutch result, does manage to make that catch for out number 1 for Al Oliver. Focus is out because I put something in front of the thing again. Thank you for letting me know that. Sometimes I don't always look at the screen. I'm looking at the card so much. So Now, the other channel's never out of focus. He's got a nice 4K camera, and I don't. So, but I'm cheap, so what can I tell you? 1-2 is a split chance. 1 to 11 is a single. That's a 2. It'll be a base hit for Al Oliver. He will not be held, will not go anywhere. And here comes Pops. Stargell, he's been intentionally walked and hit a sacrifice fly, so he's 0 for 0. Technically has not had an at-bat yet. 4-9 against the lefty. A single 2 stars. So there you go. The Pirates coming back on the move. That puts runners on the corners with only 1 out. Stargell not being held, obviously. Does not run well. Now, if you're the Giants, do you play for the double play, or do you go for the, or you bring the infield in? What do you know, that's the thing you got to worry about. Don't like to really game the system by looking at this card, but I did just look at the card by accident. He doesn't have a whole lot of ground ball A's. He's got a few, not that many. But I think strategy-wise, they would play double play to try to get out of the inning, take their chances with a double play. So they're going to lay back. Bar to Zisk. 4-3, and that is a fly ball right field X, so it doesn't matter where they are. Right fielder is Bonds. He's a 1 with an E12. So let's see if what he does on a 1. 1 and a 5. Will that allow a sacrifice fly is the question. A 1 and a 5 is an F2. It will be a sacrifice fly. And it might even be an error because he is an E12. And an E12, 4, 16, 13, 14, 3, and 18. That is a 9. It's not going to be an error, but it will be a sacrifice fly for Richie Zisk. Second sacrifice fly of the game for the Pirates. And that will bring home Oliver. And it's a 3-1 ball game. Favor the Pirates. Nice piece of hitting by Richie Zisk to get that run home. All right. Hello, Tim. How you doing? All right. Bar to Robertson. Nothing going on. 2 outs. Runner at first. And Stargell not being held. Whoop, the white die did not go through. Let's Suidice. Let's try that again. 4-5 to a right-hander. Ground ball, shortstop X. Since nobody's being held, there's nobody to worry about. Shortstop is Spire. He's a 2E36. So we'll see if he can get to this. 2 and a 6 is a G2, but he's not holding anybody, so the pound is irrelevant. So he will get to it. Now his error rating is an E36, so at shortstop, he's got to avoid a 13, 15, 16, and 17. So 13 through 17 is where his problems come in. And he's okay. That's a 9. So it's good play, and that will end the inning. But a run comes in for the Buccos, and they take a 3-1 lead after 5 innings from Three River Stadium. And a programming note, tomorrow night we will be in the nation's capital for the September 24th game between the Detroit Tigers and the Washington Senators. The Tigers lead the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are on life support. So if the Tigers win that game, they could pretty much wrap up the American League pennant. But we'll see what happens. That'll be tomorrow night. Hopefully live around 8:30 is my guess. All right. Cheap plug on my own channel. How about that? That's quite all right, Jeff. Shameless plug. That's absolutely 69. Giants and the Padres. Giants getting a tune-up. Actually, not a tune-up because they didn't make the playoffs, but they will be facing the Padres at 4 p.m. today. All right. So, due up here in the top of the 6th, it'll be Gary Matthews to lead it off. Matthews is grounded to a fielder's choice, and he has walked and scored his last time up. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short. Easy play for Dow Maxville. 1 away for Chris Spire. Spire is lined to third and singled. 1 for 2. 2-10, and that's a fly to right field. Richie Zisk puts it away. 2 up and 2 down for Mike Phillips. 3-1 ball game. Pittsburgh here in the top of the 6th. 5-4, and that's a 1 for a double. Anything else will be a single. That's a 7, so it would be a 2-out single for Phillips, his first hit of the game. And it brings up Rader. Phillips not going to be held. He's a terrible runner, so he will not be held on. 5-0 on the Havoc roll. Now here's Briles to Rader. 5-5, lefty. And that's a 1-9 is a home run, but that's a 20. It'll be a double to center. It's assumed to go to center field because it's no position listed. Now the question is, can Phillips score? Phillips runs at a 13, but he was not being held, makes him a 14. There are 2 outs, makes him a 16. The left fielder arm is a -4 for Stargell. So that's a 1-12. But to me, that's a 60% chance, and that's a better chance than the next guy getting a hit. So we're going to send him. And let me recalculate just to make sure I'm correct. I want to make sure this is right. Phillips runs at a 13. There are 2 outs, makes it a 15. He was not being held, makes him a 16. But the -4 from Stargell makes it a 12. So it's a 1-12 for Phillips to score. So Stargell with the throw, throwing into May, 1-12 he scores. And he's thrown out at the plate by Stargell. How about that? 7-2. Guns him down at the plate to end the inning. So Stargell doing it offensively and defensively. He's had a great game. He's 1 for 1 with a single, sacrifice fly, and now he throws a runner out at the plate. So Stargell doing it all to help his Pirates. Due up now for Pittsburgh is Milt May. Bottom of the order, May, Maxfield, and Briles will be up. All right, here's Barr. To Milt May. It's a 2-4, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-4. That's a 20, so he's going to line it to second for out number 1. And that'll bring up Dow Maxfield. Shortstop, he's 0 for 2. 1-5, and he's going to strike out. He'll be 0 for 3. Not that many strikeouts in the game so far. Both teams have put the ball in play. And here is Briles using pitcher hitting card number 3. 6-6, though. We're off the pitcher, and it's a ground ball to short. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Pittsburgh. So at the end of 6, it's still 3-1 Pirates. Now you got your decision to make because leading off the inning is Jim Barr, and they really need offense. So I'm thinking now they are going to go ahead and bring in a pinch hitter. So let's look at who they have available on the bench. From the left side, you got Howarth, Thomason, and Ontiveros as a switch hitter. From the right side, Arnold, Kingman, Miller, and Sadek. So let's look and see who's got the best average. I'm thinking Thomason, but we might go elsewhere. Howarth might be a possible. Well, Howarth's only a 200 hitter. Thomason's a 285 hitter. So looks like we're going to go with Gary Thomason as the pinch hitter for the. So Thomason will pinch hit here in the 7th. So Thomason's going to pinch hit against Nelson Briles, and that'll do it for Barr. We can do the totals on Barr real quick. Barr went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, and they were all earned. Let's check the hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits I've got him for. Walks, he walked, let's see, 1 was intentional, 1 here, so that's 2 walks. So he walked 2, 1 was intentional. Struck out 1, just 2 strikeouts. So that's the line on Barr. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and he is the loser of record unless the Giants can rebound and tie this game. All right, top of the 7th we go. Nelson Briles facing the pinch hitter Gary Thomason. 6-7 against the lefty. Ground ball second base X. That's extended again. 4E19. He could have trouble getting to this ball. He's a 4. So he has to have, well, since he's not holding anybody on, he needs a 7 or higher to get to this. And it's a 3. He's going to get through for a single. Now we're checking for an error. He's an E19, so he's got to avoid the 6, 15, 17, and 18. That's a 14. I think he's okay. I think you say he's okay with that. He is. So it is going to get through for a base hit. There are no errors on the play, but it's a pinch hit single for Gary Thomason. He does not run well. He will not be held. He's not the tying run, so I'm not going to pinch run or anything. I think they're going to save their position players for other duties. So Bryles, this is his fatigue innings. That's the first knock against his fatigue. 2 on the strategy roll means we've got a possible balk or a pass ball. Now he's got a 0 balk rating, so there will not be a balk. So we move on. Gary Maddox. 1-4 to Maddox. 1-5 is a dinger. That's an 18. It'll be a triple for Gary Maddox. Thomason scores. The lead is cut to 3-2, and the Pirate bullpen is warming up in earnest. Let's look at it again on the dice. 1-4. 1-4 split chance. 1-5 is a homer. 6-20 is a triple. That's an 18. So it is a triple for Gary Maddox. And now the bullpen for the Pirates is up in earnest. We'll look and see who they've got available in the bullpen. They've got 3 left-handers and 3 right-handers. So it looks like there's going to be double barrel action for the Pirates. And we are looking at right-hander Bob Johnson in the bullpen and left-hander Ramon Hernandez. So Hernandez and Johnson are double barrel action in the bullpen for the Pirates, just in case Nelson Bryles runs into further issues. It's possible, Brian. Depends on how far in the order we get, but I don't know who you want to take out. You're not going to take out Bonds. Maybe take out Matthews if we get that far. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm not going to take out McCovey, so he's in a bad situation to do a double switch, but we will see. But with the runner at third and nobody out, the infield's in because that's a tying run. So the infield is in for Tito Fuentes. Fuentes is 0 for 3, but can make up for it right now. 6-6 to a lefty. He does. Single 2 stars. And now Bryles has reached his fatigue. It is now a 3-3 game. Fuentes is aboard. Bobby Bonds is coming up, and we're getting a call to the bullpen. Call to the bullpen for right-hander Bob Johnson. That's going to be it for Nelson Bryles. He did great until the 7th inning. He just ran out of gas, apparently. And he just hit ninth. The pitcher just hit for the last out, so there's no double switch to worry about. But coming in the ball game for the Pirates is Bob Johnson, so there's no double switch. No double switch. But he gets the enviable task of facing Bobby Bonds coming right out of the bullpen. In '73, it was 4-2 with a 3.62 ERA and 4 saves. So Bob Johnson can't close the book on Bryles just yet with the runs, but I can close on everything else. He went 6+. Let's write this in so you can see his name. He went 6+. Let's see how many hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. Let's check his walks and strikeouts. He did walk 1 intentionally. And he walked 2 here, so that's a total of 3 with 1 being intentional. Strikeouts 1. He only struck out 1 batter. He struck out Fuentes in the first inning. He did not strike out anyone else. But he's allowed 3 runs, all earned, but he is responsible for Fuentes on the base pass, so he could take the loss. And now actually Jim Barr can, if they take the lead here, he can get the win. He's definitely off the hook for the loss, but he's got a possible chance to get the, be the winner. So Bob Johnson is in there. Strategy roll. Nothing going on the Havoc. All right, infield double play. Fuentes is not being held on. He doesn't run all that well. Johnson, 4-10, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-4. That is a 4. The evil D20 strikes again with the low number. And now runners at first and second. Still nobody out for McCovey. Probably wish they had Ramon Hernandez in there right now, but you're not going to take Johnson out to 1 batter. Plus there's righties coming up behind him. So Johnson now to McCovey. Looking for a double play if they can get it. 6-4. Ground ball shortstop X, they just might have a chance. Maxfield's a 2E24. Nobody was being held on, so he keeps his 2 rating. So a 2 rating, and if he can get a 10 or higher, we got a chance for a double play. It's a 1. Wouldn't you figure that? The evil D20 strikes again. I'm telling you that 1 is loaded. It comes up more as a 1 than anything else. I'm swear to it. It's more than 5%. It's not right. It's weighted that way. I don't know what it is, but it just is. It is what it is. And so now, after all of that, the shortstop Maxwell has an E24 error rating. So we have to avoid 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. And that is a 14. That will be an error. So add insult to injury on Dow Maxwell's E24. E24, no, I take it back. It's not going to be an error. It's a 14. I was thinking it was a 15. So it's not going to be an error on the E24. He escapes the error, but it is a single 1 star. Single 1 star is going to load the bases. Still nobody out. And here comes Gary Matthews. Talk about double switches. Thomason might get a chance to pinch hit again and stay in the game to pinch hit. So he gets around to him. They bat around like that. All right, here's Johnson. Now the infield. Boy, what do? You need outs, but you hate to give up. But you could give up 4 or 5 more runs if you play the infield in. So it's a tough call. If you get an X chance and hit that pound sign with the infield in, you could be really punished. I think they're going to play back for the double play. They don't have any outs. They need outs in the worst way. And we can close the book on Bryles now. He does give up. No, he hasn't, because that runner's still on third base. He did not score. My bad. All right, here's Matthews now. Infield back for the double play. 5-5. That's a strikeout and a huge one for Bob Johnson. Gets a huge strikeout of Gary Matthews. Matthews is out. Here's Chris Spire. Now a double play gets him out of the inning. So they're definitely at double play depth. Spire, 1 for 3 against Johnson. 6-4. It's ground ball shortstop X. So again, we're looking at Maxwell. He's a 2. So once again, Maxwell, if he can roll a 10 or higher, we're looking at a double play. It's a 1 again. I tell you what, I don't know what else to say, other than the fact that this game is rigged with the D20. It's loaded. How many times does that come up as a 1 in this game? In key situations. So it's an SI1. Now I've got to check for error. E24. That is a 13. E24, there is no 13, but it's a single 1 star, and the Giants are in the lead. Unbelievable. That D20 has come up twice. He's a 2 fielder, and he's rolled a 1 on the D20 twice in a row. You explain that to me, somebody, and tell me that's not rigged. So now he can close the book on Bryles. He gives up to 3 runs, but Johnson's the pitcher of record. He's on the hook for the loss right now. And he's going to have to come out of the game. They're going to bring in Ramon Hernandez with these lefties coming up. So Bob Johnson got a bad break. Let's just face it, he got screwed. We'll tell it like it is. He got screwed. He goes a third of an inning, gives up 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 1, and he's given up, let's see, wait a minute. No, 4, not take it back. Bryles gave up 4 runs, so Bryles is the pitcher of record right now. Okay, so Johnson hasn't given up any runs, but the bases are loaded, and he's just had a rough outing. So Ramon Hernandez is on. He's a -3 hold and a +1, so he's a -2. Didn't do it for Johnson, but didn't matter as it turned out. So now the bases are loaded, 1 out for Mike Phillips, lefty on lefty matchup at third base. Do the Giants make a move? Let's look at who's on their bench. Do they make a move for a third, bring in a third baseman? They have Onaveros, a switch hitter. And let's check and see if he might even be a better defender as well. So let's see who they might be thinking about at third base. Ontiveros is actually, he doesn't play third base. He plays first and right. The only third baseman they have Chris Arnold, but he's terrible. 4E15. And even worse, Kingman is a 553. So I don't think you're going to do any one of those. with the lead, they're going to stick with defense. So Phillips will go ahead and bat lefty on lefty. All right. Strategy roll. 1, chance for a wild pitch. I could get it. Comes with a 1 again. Wild pitch 1-2. No, finally avoided that. But here's Phillips. They need the double play in the worst way. 2-8. Got a strikeout. That helps. Now there's 2 outs. Now the infield can go back to normal for Dave Rader. Do they want to bring in somebody for him? Although he is 2 for 3. Their right-handed catcher is Mike Sadek. Sadek, however you pronounce it. But he's a terrible hitter. Not that much defensively either. So if you bring in somebody, boy, Rader, 229 hitter. What do? He's a 3. Could go for the offense, but then you lose something defensively. I think with the lead, you stick with the defense. Nope, you know what? San Francisco manager says, screw it. We're going for offense. We are going for all the gusto on offense we can get. And they're bringing in Chris Arnold. He will stay in the game to catch. He's a 296 hitter. So Chris Arnold will be in the game to catch. Arnold. And Thomason, who started the inning as a pinch hitter, is on deck. So Arnold has a good chance to extend the lead. The Giants looking to try to get some distance here. Hernandez to Arnold. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 3 are already in. It's 4-3 Giants. Hernandez, 6'8" to a right-hander, struck him out. And so they get out of it without further damage, but damage was already done. So Johnson actually gives up 0 runs because he allowed the inherited runner, but none of his runners scored. Ramon Hernandez struck out the 2 he faced, so he did his job. But Chris Arnold will stay in the game to catch. So Arnold now, let's put him in as a catcher. Chris Arnold. So Arnold is in to catch, and he is a 4 with a +2 and a 16. I know it's terrible, but they were going for the offense. Now, do we have a double switch is the question, because the pitcher spot is going to lead off next inning for the Giants. Jim Barr actually now is in line to get the win, by the way. So let's go to our bullpen for the Giants and see who they have available. So we did use Arnold, and he is in the game to play as the new catcher. Jim Arnold. Whoops. Come on. So Arnold is your catcher. Arnold is the catcher. So if you wanted to double switch, we could take Matthews out and leave Thomason in. See what kind of fielder Thomason is as a left fielder. We'll check him out. See how he does. We could bring in Howarth to play left field as well. He's another possibility. Yeah, they're going to bring in... Boy, let's look at Thomason again. See what his numbers are. .3018. Nope, they're not going to use Thomason. They're going to bring in Jimmy Howarth. Jimmy Howarth is going to stay in the game to play left field, and he will bat 9th. So Howarth is going to bat 9th and play left field. He's in there for his defense. He's a 2, -1, and an E5. And Matthews is out. And this is now the pitcher. So, Howarth is your new left fielder. So the new left fielder is Howarth. That is Howarth. And this has now become the pitcher spot, number 5, right behind McCovey. And now we need a new pitcher for the Giants after all of that. So let's get the lineup straight. You don't see managing like this on the other channel. You see more autopilot. So Let's see here. So Howarth is going to bat leadoff next inning because he's the 9th hitter. And Matthews is out of the game. Chris Arnold is your new catcher. He hits 8th. And let's look at who they have in the bullpen. They have Carithers, McMahon, Moffitt, Sosa, and Willoughby. And they're going to go to, let's see who's coming up for the Pirates. A lot of lefties are coming up, but they don't have any lefties in the bullpen. That's their problem. They're going to Don McMahon, right-hander, 4-0 with a 1.50 ERA and 6 saves. So Don, don't call me Ed McMahon, is on. And he's a hold of 0. Chris Arnold's a +2, so now we got a +2 on the pitcher-catcher quotient. +2. So it's going to be Stennett, Hebner, and Oliver due up in the bottom of the 7th. We are at the 7th inning stretch. I almost forgot about that. So I'm going to stand up and take a quick break, stretch break, as we've been going for just right around an hour now. So I can probably use a stretch break at the moment. And it looks like it got out of focus again when I put something in front of there. So there we are. So I'm going to have to raise this up now because we're getting to the later innings. So I'm going to have to, oops, wrong way. I'm going to have to make sure I can fit everything in. So let me do that while I'm standing up. That way I can look through the phone and see what I'm doing. Move this over a bit. I think that's in good shape there. So while we're doing the 7th inning stretch, there's your new lineups. You can see who's playing where. And Pittsburgh is, Hernandez was used. Pittsburgh's got all their bench there, so they could go to the bench if they need to. Only lefty on the bench is Dave Parker. They do have some good hitters from the right side, saying Guillen, Cash, and Kleins. So we'll see what happens as they get later in the lineup. But right now at the top of the order, so it's not going to be pinch hitting. Shameless plug? Sure. Who wants to do a shameless plug? Go right ahead. Shameless plug all you wish. While I got these cards kind of jumbled, so let me take the 7th inning stretch to reorganize these cards. That's the problem with Strat cards compared to, say, Inside Pitch, is they all look alike. So if this was Inside Pitch, I'd have gold and black for the Pirates and orange and black for the Giants, and I would know exactly which cards go where, but they're all red and blue, so that's the small price you pay for Strat-O-Matic in that area. Okay, so now we're straight. But yeah, if you want anybody wants to do a shameless plug, you go for it. You go for it. All right. Hello, Phoenix. Good to see you. All right, so we are now at the 7th inning stretch. Oh, I forgot to put in the most important thing, which is the Giants had 3 runs in the top of the 7th to take a 4-3 lead. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, Jim Barr is now the winner of record, and losing pitcher of record is Nelson Briles, unless the Pirates are able to do something. There is a shameless plug. There you go. Giants and the Cardinals. You get double dose of Giants in this today. All right. Make sure everything shows up. I think it does now. I think we're in good shape. Tabby is kind of doing her grooming, so I'm not going to disturb her. I don't want to get hissed at, so we will drive on. Rennie Stennett, top of the order, due up for the Pirates. They trail it 4-3, and anybody came in late. I will show the importance of this game for the Pirates, especially, and the Giants both. Giants lead the Dodgers by 4. Pirates trail the Cardinals by 1. So that's why it's an important game for both teams. And once this game is over, I will input it directly into Strat-O-Matic computer, so we record the win for whoever wins and the loss for whoever loses. So we'll take care of that. Right now, Rennie Stennett is up. Now, Tabby would be probably after the game is over, I'm thinking. I don't want to take any chances right now of disturbing her, so why it comes up, I think my phone is tilted is the problem, so let's see if I can fix that a little bit. Maybe get this more centered. A lot of adjusting. All right, here's McMahon to Stennett. And McMahon, I already showed McMahon's numbers. So. 2-6 to Stennett, ground ball to third. One away, and that's going to bring up Richie Hebner, the Gravedigger. 1 for 3. McMahon 3-6, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-5. That's a 3. It's a tie ball game. That D20, the Devil Die, did it again with that low number. Let's look at it again on the replay. Richie Hebner on the replay. 3-6 is a definite ballpark diamond shot, and it's 1-5, and that's a 3. So we got a tie ball game. Tie ball game, and that takes Briles off the hook, and it takes the win away from Barr. Now the pitchers of decision are McMahon and Hernandez, as we got a tie game at 4 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Neither team wants to go quietly. McMahon 4-7 to Oliver. 1-2 single, but that's an 18, so he grounds to third. 2 down for Wilbur Stargell. McMahon 6-7 to the lefty. Stargell struck him out, but damage done on the home run off the Gravedigger, Richie Hebner. In the 73 season, he had 25 dingers. Don't really think of him as a power hitter all that much, but I think more of him as a doubles hitter. But he did it, and now Howarth is in left field, much less offensive left fielder than what Matthews was. He's only a 200 hitter. He's a good defender. They were going for defense, but unfortunately for the Giants, it did not work out. Now it's also lefty on lefty, which is, adding insult to injury if you're the Giants. I mean, they could go to another hitter, and they would have to do some finagling in the outfield, though. So I think they're pretty much stuck with Howarth. They don't have anybody else to play left field, so they're kind of stuck with Howarth. So Hernandez to Howarth. 5-7, and that's a 1-4 triple. A 5 is a single. So Howarth gets the base hit off the pitcher card. He wouldn't have got it off his own, but he got it off the pitcher card. Go figure. He's not going to be held. And here's Gary Maddox. Nothing going on there. Hernandez to Maddox, 3-7 against the lefties, a 1-18. That's a base hit with 1 star. And now the Pirate bullpen might start to loosen again. Go down to their bullpen. I don't think they can afford to mess around too much with who they bring in. You look at their bullpen availability. John Lamb is a righty, but he's terrible. He's got a 6.16 ERA. Luke Walker, 4.65 ERA. 3.97 for John Moreland. But Dave Justy, their closer, you might want to bring him in early. With the score tie, there's no safe situation anyway. But he might have to save the game ahead of time. He's 9-2 with a 2.38 ERA and 20 saves. He's in the bullpen loosening. Dave Justy, just in case. Just in case, but they'd really rather save Justy for the next inning, but may not have that choice. So Ramon Hernandez now with runners at first and second, nobody out. Infield looking for 2. Fuentes is actually a really good bunter, so they're going to have him bunt. The corners are playing in, so he'll be a B bunter. Haven't done a whole lot of super advanced bunting because I don't like to bunt all that much, but to me this dictates a bunt in this situation, particularly when you've got such a good bunter like Fuentes. So we would be bunting. He is an A bunter, but with the corners in, it becomes a B bunter. And we're going to roll one. Roll 1d6 and see who fields it. That's a 2, so it's going to be fielded by the pitcher, Ramon Hernandez. And now we roll the other 2 dice to see what happens off the B chart. We get a 3, and it's a good sacrifice. So it's a good sacrifice to the pitcher. Well executed by Fuentes. It's going to be sacrifice hit 1-4. And that will move the runners up to second and third with only 1 out. Bobby Bonds is your batter, and they are going to intentionally walk Bobby Bonds to make it a lefty-on-lefty matchup with Willie McCovey. It's called pick your poison right here, but they want lefty-on-lefty against McCovey. Also sets up a double play at any base, or force at any base and a double play all the way around. Justy would come in. The pitcher spot is on deck because they had that double switch. So it looks like Big Kong Kingman has picked up a bat for the Giants, possibly to pinch hit, depending on what the situation is. So Ramon Hernandez now. Tight situation, second and third. Infield is, bases are loaded, so the infield's back for the double play. Hernandez, 3-5. That's a strikeout of Willie McCovey, so that strategy to intentionally walk Bonds pays off, and now we got the pitcher spot due up. So now the Giants are going to the bench, and who do you bring in is the question. You've got 3 guys available. Actually 4 guys, but Miller's terrible. So you got Kingman, who hits 203, but with power. You got the backup catcher, Mike SADV, hits 167. Ontiveros hits 242 as a switch hitter, so I think he's going to be the one to come in, Steve Ontiveros. Kingman strikes out too much for their liking, so they're not going to use Kingman. They are going to use Ontiveros. So Ontiveros will come on as a pinch hitter. With the bases loaded and 2 outs against Ramon Hernandez, the lefties. So Ontiveros is a switch hitter that will now bat from the right-hand side. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tie game, top of the 8th. Tied at 4, but the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Hernandez, 6-5 to a switch hitter batting right-handed, and that's terrible trouble. 1-3 is a triple. That's a 6. It's a single, 2 stars. A 2-run single for the pinch hitter, Steve Ontiveros. And that's going to score Howarth and Maddox. And that's going to be it for Ramon Hernandez. Going to third is McCovey. And with Chris Spire coming up, the Pirates will call to the bullpen for Dave Justy. Try to stop the bleeding. Dave Justy is going to come on. So Justy. So for Hernandez, pitched 2/3 of an inning here and 2/3 of an inning here. So he goes an inning and a third. Strikes out 3. Had 1 intentional walk. Oops. Got it backwards here. The score sheet's a little bit funky. Things out of order. Can't do his runs because we don't know what's going on. Hits. 3 hits. He gave up an inning and a third. So Dave Justy is on with the bases, with runners at first and third with 2 outs. And Chris Spire, the batter, is now 6-4, favor of the Giants. And again, this thing looks like it's gotten twisted somehow, so let's fix this a little bit, at least attempt to fix it, or did I make it worse? Let's see. I might have made it worse. Did I make it worse? Yes, I did. So let's go back this way. Okay. It's a slight delay, so I won't know until I see it what's going on here. But I don't like the tilting, so let's fix this. There we go. There we go. Now we can move this over a little bit. Make sure everything fits. So Dave Justy facing Chris Spire. So Justy is now been used. Chris Spire is your batter. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Justy. Nothing on the havoc. Justy to Spire. 2-7, and that's a fly ball to center field, but it's a clutch result, and we are in a clutch situation. So that turns into a base hit with 2 stars right there. Chris Spire has the Omega on the 2-7. That is a clutch hit with runner at third and 2 outs. That is a clutch hit. So it's a base hit to score Bonds. That'll move the pinch hitter Ontiveros to third, and it's an RBI single for Chris Spire. Giants now lead it 7-4. Now we can close the book on Hernandez. He did give up the 3 runs. And actually, he's responsible for Ontiveros at third, so if he scores, it'll actually be 4 runs. So Justy thought he got screwed on that. Here's Phillips. 3-5 to Phillips. That's a single to right field, so now Hernandez will give up the 4th run as a base hit for Phillips. That will score the runner Spire from third, and Phillips will just stop at second base. They're not going to They're not going to... Well, they might be greedy. Let's see. Phillips could be greedy. Let's see here. Not Phillips, was Spire, my bad. Spire was the one at first base. Runs at a 14. Not being held makes him a 15. 2 outs makes him a 17. Right field to third base is 19. They're actually going to let him take third without a throw. They don't want the runner to get to second base. So runners are at the corners with still 2 outs for Chris Arnold. But now 4 runs are in the inning. It's now 8-4. Favor of the Giants. And this thing has just totally gotten away from the Pirates. 2, a balk or pass ball opportunity. That's a pass ball check. And the pass ball rating on the catcher, Milt May, his pass ball rating is a 2. So we'll see if we get a 2 or not. We do not. So it's no pass ball. So we drive on to finish the at-bat against Chris Arnold. 3-7, and he's going to fly to left field to end the inning finally, but they send 9. That's 2 innings in a row. They sent 9 to the plate in both innings. This time 4. They get a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning and take a 7-4 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-4 lead. And Don McMahon back out. He did give up the run, but he's not fatigued yet. He's in his second inning to be fatigued. Here's facing Richie Zisk, who is 0 for 2 with a sac fly. 5-8, and that's a ground ball. Second base X. That is Fuentes. He's a 2-E6. But we've had some evil D20 rolls on this 2 chance. Again, on a 2, it just has to be not be a 1 or a 2, and he'll make the play. Finally he does with an 11. Now he's an E6, so he's got to avoid 3, 16, and 18. And he does, so it's a good play for for Fuentes, rather. 1 away. Zisk gets retired. Here's Bob Robertson. 4-8. McMahon struck him out. 2 down for Milt May. 269 hitter, so we're not going to pinch hit for him. They would pinch hit for Maxfield if he got on, though. 6-3 is a fly ball left field X, and that's the new left fielder Howarth. He's a 2-E5. 2-E5 for Howarth. So to catch this thing, he needs anything 4 or higher. There it is again. I want to go back here and do the totals on this, because that's got to be about the 7th time a 1 has come up on a defensive check. And now Tabby is whining. Hold on, Tabby. Let me finish. Come here. Come here. Come here. Tabby's upset about the 1 roll also. She says, I've had enough of these 1 rolls. She's going to... Here, you want to bite the D20? You want to scratch at it and bite at it? Fix it? What do you want to do? You know the dice are rigged, don't you? Well, I kind of need you to move so I can finish the game, Tabby. Nobody wants to see your backside. Maybe after the game. Want to do something after the game? You can do something after the game. Tabby, what do you want to do? Why are you making so much noise? Hold on. Come on. All right, come on. Come on. Come on. Hold on, Tab. You can get up here after the game's over. How about that? There you go. All right, so obviously the 1 on the D20 and the outfielder is a 2, so that's going to be a double. A double, and it's an E5, so we're looking to avoid 4, 14, and 18. And we do avoid that. It will be a double, though. So a double for Milt May, a 2-out double, as the evil D20 strikes again, and we will get a pinch hitter for Maxfield. Dow Maxfield will be relieved of his shortstop duties, and we will get a pinch hitter. Coming in to play shortstop will be Gene Alley in the top of the 9th. He will not be pinch hitting, but he's going to play shortstop. So he will stay in the game to play short. So Alley will stay in the game to play shortstop. But coming into pinch hit, they're going to Big Dave Parker. So Parker, 288 hitter in his rookie season. But they're going to trust him with that lefty-righty play. And Dave Parker is your batter. McMahon to Parker. 1-9. And look at this. Look at that managing. 1 to 4 is a triple. 5 to 20 is a double. That's a 7. It's a pinch hit double. Oops, I got in the wrong column. It is a pinch hit double for Dave Parker. That'll score the run, make it now 8 to 5. As Parker gets the pinch hit double. So Parker pinch hit double. Alley will stay in the game to play short. Now we need a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot. Dave Justy is going to leave. So we close the book on Justy. Justy goes a third of an inning. Gives up 3 hits and a run. I'm sorry. 2 hits and no runs. My bad. 2 hits and no runs. Let's see. Didn't walk or strike anybody out either. So the pinch hitter, let's look at the rest of their bench and see who the best pinch hitter is. It might be Cash. Check the averages. 271 for Cash. Sanguillen's actually 282, but do you want to use your backup catcher? That's the other part. Although we're in the 9th inning, it may not matter. I think you might have to go with the best you got. And throw caution to the wind. So Manny Sanguillen is going to be the pinch hitter. Manny Sanguillen will pinch hit here in the bottom of the 8th. So Sanguillen is going to pinch hit against McMahon. Now the Giant bullpen is active. They have Randy Moffett, a right-hander, loosening. But right now they're going to try to let McMahon. And I got it blurry again with all the stuff in front here. So McMahon now, let me make sure it got fixed. I know, RJL, I'm ahead of you. Okay. So Sanguillen is your pinch hitter. Runner at second, 2 outs. Runner at second is Parker. And let's see, are they holding him on is the question. They're not going to hold him on. So McMahon to Sanguillen. 3-8 to Sanguillen is a single 2 stars. Look at that managing. I'm telling you, you don't get managing like this on that other channel. This channel's pinch hitters come through. So Sanguillen with a pinch hit single scores the run. That's going to be it for McMahon. He is done. Stick the fork in him. He will have to leave, and Randy Moffett will have to leave talking on the phone to Billie Jean King and getting the ball game. He is 4-4, 2-4-3, and with 14 saves. So Randy Moffett is your new pitcher. For McMahon, he goes an inning and 2/3. So far gives up 3 runs, but it might be worse. Struck out 2, didn't walk anybody. And he gave up 4 hits. So the new pitcher is Randy Moffett. Moffett will be on. McMahon is done. And we're back to the top of the order for Rennie Stennett. Yeah, Marlon, he kind of got me into this, but I did tweak it. I have the pitchers over. I copied this little section with the 5 pitcher slots and copied it over here so I could have room for 5 pitchers on both sides. The original Strat score sheet only gives you room for 3 pitchers a side, and obviously you need more than that. So I don't need all the stuff that was over here, so that's what that is. All right, so Rennie Stennett, Randy Moffett coming in. 3-0 happening. Runner at first, Sanguillen. Let's see, is he going to be held? Sanguian, they're going to have to hold. Well, no, they're not going to hold him on. Take it back. They're not going to hold him on. Moffitt to Stennett, 5-3 for Moffitt. Ground ball pitcher X, and Randy Moffitt is a 5E43 as a ground ball pitcher X. He's a 5E43. So we go to the pitcher for 5E43. He needs a 7 or better to get to this. 7 or higher. And he does. That's a G1. Now, can he avoid the error? He is an E43 as a pitcher. So he's got to avoid. It's a lot of numbers here to avoid. It's a lot of numbers. On an E43, that's a total of 9. E43, there's a 9 sitting right there. E43, 9 is a one-base error. And that's going to put runners at first and second and keep the inning going. E1 on Moffitt. So that keeps the inning going. Tying runs are now on base for the gravedigger, Richie Hebner, who homered his last time up. So Moffitt got to bear down. 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. No, he's got no balk rating, so there is no balk. Moffitt. 1-8 to Hebner, and that's a 1-6 double. That's a 2, so it's a double 2 stars. Stennett will have to stop at second base, but it's a double for Hebner. He's got a triple away from the cycle, and scoring is Sanguian. 3 runs are in now. It's 8-7. And now Al Oliver is up. With the lefties coming up, Giants have no lefties in their bullpen. That's their Achilles heel. So Moffitt has committed an error and given up a double. It was his fault. The inning should have been over. That was an unearned run that just came in that was charged to McMahon. So McMahon's going to give up 4 runs, 3 of them earned. 4 runs, 3 earned. Make sure that's right. 3-4. Yep, because that's 8-7. So 4 runs, 3 earned. We can close the book on him now. So it is Gisty and Moffitt. Actually, McMahon, as bad as he's pitched, technically could qualify for the win, but as official score, I probably would not give him the win for pitching so badly. But I guess you could, put it up for judgment. Here's Al Oliver. Clutch situation with second and third and 2 outs. Moffitt to Oliver. 2-10 for Oliver against a right-hander. Ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning. But 3 runs come in, and it is now an 8-7 game as we go to the 9th. 8-7 ball game. 8-7 ball game. And let's see who Pittsburgh's going to bring in. They have terrible pitching. Terrible pitching. So I don't know if they've got any much choice here. They're going to have to go with the lesser of the evils, I guess. Basically, you got Lamb, a righty, but his ERA is 6.16. But the Giants have lefty Howarth coming up, so boy, who do you go with here? They're going to go with the best. Actually, Moreland's a right-hander. I thought he was a left-hander. He's a right-hander. But do we want to? Well, there's a lot of right-handers coming up. So we're going to go with John Moreland, a right-hander. Moreland is 2-2 with a 3.95 ERA. Did have 7 starts, but he does have a relief rating. So we're going to use him. We're going to use that relief rating. So he is on to pitch, Moreland. He's a -3 with the +1, so that's a -2 quotient. So top of the 9th we go. Make sure everything still shows up. I think it does. All right. I really would prefer not to have extra innings, to be quite honest with you, but because this game has gone on for almost about an hour and a half now. So, but if I'm looking at this right, there's 30 people watching. I'm truly blessed. I didn't know 30 people could find this entertaining, but I'm happy to do it. So, Moreland now will be facing Howarth to start the ninth. 8-7 Giants. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to second. So Howarth is out of there. Flip the order over to Gary Maddox. And Elias Sosa is loosening in the pen, and he would come in for Moffitt. Probably, because I don't think Moffitt's going to finish this game. I think we're going to Sosa, their actual guy that really closes most of the games. He will be coming on to pitch for the Giants. Moreland to Maddox, 4-6. It's ground ball to third. Richie Hebner is there, 2 down for Tito Fuentes. 3-4 for Fuentes against the right-handers. A ballpark single check, 1-4. That's a 6. It's going to line it to second. It's a 1-2-3 inning from Moreland. How about that? 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Last chance for the Pirates. They trail it 8-7, and they'll have Stargell, Zisk, and Robertson due up. And coming in to pitch for the Giants, remember they have no lefties in their pen, but it's going to be right-hander Elias Sosa, 10-4 with a 3.28 ERA and 18 saves. So Elias Sosa is going to come on to pitch. There will be no double switch because they really don't want to lose anybody on defense, even though the pitcher spot does come up third. I don't think they want to do any double switches. I don't believe. Yeah, no, we're not going to do any double switches. So Elias Sosa is on as the new pitcher. And it's going to be Stargell, Zisk, and Robertson. Milt May, if anybody gets on. All right, so, well, I sort of agree with you, RJ, and sort of not agree with you. We do have lives. It's just focused on our hobby. So how about that? We have hobby lives. How about that? All right, so Willie Stargell will lead it off against Sosa, 8-7, bottom of the ninth. 6-7 against the lefties, a ground ball, second base X. That's Fuentes, a 2E6. We've seen that 2 come up failing many times when the D20 was a 1. He has to have a 3 or higher to get to this. And he does, so he will get to that. He's an E6, so he's got to avoid 3, 16, and 18. Shouldn't be that hard to avoid those numbers. And he does. So good play for Fuentes. Fuentes, whoops, wrong area. Go down here. Fuentes makes the play on Stargell. That'll bring up Richie Zisk. Sosa to Zisk. 3-6 for Zisk is a solid single. Single to right. 3-6 on Zisk. He will not be held. Now, the question is, do the Pirates bring in a pinch runner? They do have lots of people still on their bench. So they got some guys that can run. Because Zisk cannot. So Zisk will be called back for a pinch runner. Question is, who's going to pinch run? They've got Cash and Kleins that are both pretty fast. Kleins runs at a 17. Cash is a 16. So it looks like Gene Kleins is going to come in and pinch run. And if it goes extra innings, he'll stay in the game and play right field. So Kleins is now your pinch runner and potential right fielder. And if you wanted to try to get the lead, Sosa is a -1. Arnold's a +2, so it's a +1 on a quotient. So if he got the lead, it would be a 15, +1 is a 16, -2 is a 14. It'd be a 1-14 if you wanted to get the lead. But he gets thrown out on a 9 or an 11. But they'd love to have him in scoring position. I don't know if there are any Pirates fans in here that want to manage along or pick something here, but I'm thinking Gene Kleins is going to come in here and try to get the lead. So he's looking to get the lead. He needs a 2 through 8 or a 12 to get the lead, a 9 or 11, and he is out automatically. That's an 8, but that's a 1. So 1 means he could be picked off anyway. So, for those that aren't familiar with the rules on that, when you roll a 1 or a 2, it's a chance that the runner can get picked off. That's the danger of trying for a lead, is you have that extra, even if you don't have anything here, you got that extra D20 that could cost him. And his secondary lead is a 9. So he has to roll a 1 through 9 to be safe. If we roll a 10 or higher, he is picked off. 16, he got picked off. So how about that? Elias Sosa with a quick pickoff move, and Kleins is out, and the Pirate faithful are not happy. Three Rivers is blowing a gasket. And here comes Bob Robertson. He's only a 239 hitter, so they're going to pull him. And they will go to Dave Cash as a pinch hitter. So the pinch runner Kleins didn't do so well. Now they're going to see if the pinch hitter Cash can do something. And as far as playing first base, they would move Stargell to first base if it got to that. If it gets to that. They want to get there first before they worry about anything. Now, you don't see pickoffs on the other channel that much. Well, you do sometimes on the D20 roll with the 20. So, but again, how many times does a 1 come up? I'm telling you, it's more than 5%. I don't care what anybody says. It's more than 5%. So, all right, so Sosa against Cash now. Bases clear, 2 outs. That's a 5-11 against a right-hander. It's a fly ball right field X. That is Mr. Bonds. He's a 1E12. It's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. All we're checking is the E12. And an E12, he's got to avoid 4, 16, 13, 14, 3, and 18. That's a total of 8. And it's going to be a good play. Caught by Bonds, and that's going to end the ball game. So the Giants hang on and win it. Giants hang on and win it. I didn't do the numbers on Moffitt yet. I need to do those. Let's see. Give it 1 hit. No walks, no strikeouts, no runs. Let's see here. So 8-7 is your final. Let's see. Moreland pitched 1 inning, gave up nothing. Moffitt. Where is Moffitt? There he is down here. Moffitt gave up 1 hit. He went 2/3 of an inning. Actually, 1/3 of an inning. My bad. We went 1/3 of an inning because that was an error there. 1/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, nothing else. So there's your ball game, 8-7 for the Giants. They pounded 17 hits. Pirates had 12. And were there any errors in the game? I'm trying to remember if there were any errors. There was an error on Moffitt. So the Giants committed 1 error. I don't see the Pirates with any errors. So there's our final line score. Winning pitcher, boy, who did he give it to? McMahon was terrible. I'd hate to give it to McMahon because he's terrible. I mean, technically, he's supposed to get the win because those runs belong to him, but still. I'm going to begrudgingly give the win to Moffitt. Sosa gets the save. The loss goes to Ramon Hernandez. So for the Giants, 8-17-1, and for the Pirates, 7-12-0. So with the victory, the Giants are now 77-44. They are now 4.5 games ahead of the Dodgers, but the Dodgers still have to play today. They could win and keep it at 4. Pirates drop to 1.5 back as they go to 65-54. Even in the loss column, but the Cardinals have 3 extra wins in pocket, so the loss column is where it's really at. So Pirates not going to have a happy recap, as they say. So anyway, thank you all for watching part of this, or all of it, or part of it, or whatever. It's a wild score book. I don't know if you guys prefer when I play Strat-O-Matic, if I use a scorebook like this, or if I should use, or if you prefer I use like a baseball sim research type score sheet. Either one is good by me, but I've kind of, from watching Mr. Guterman play, I kind of got in the mood to use these sheets. I bought a whole stack of them, so I feel like I need to use them. So, I mean, it's a little bit cumbersome with all these pinch hittings and so forth, but that's just the way the game went. It was really kind of hard to avoid that. But the Giants win it 8-7. An exciting game here on the NBC Game of the Week. Next week on the NBC Game of the Week, we will be in the Queen City. It will be the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Good pitching matchup, Rick Wise against Don Gullett. That'll be next Saturday at 1 p.m. But next Saturday at 9 a.m., I will be on Mr. Guterman's channel, and we will play Game 1 of the 1969 ALCS. I will be the Orioles. He will be the Twins. I will have Mike Cuellar going for me, and I believe he's going to have Jim Perry going for him. But that should be fun. I had a lot of fun on his channel last time, and look forward to it again. That'll be at 9 a.m. on Mr. Guterman's channel. Check it out. Don't miss it. As Robert says, be there or be square. Tomorrow night, we will have, again, on Inside Pitch, we will have the Tigers and the Senators September 24th game from the nation's capital, as the Tigers try to close out the Red Sox, kill their impossible dream, and take on the Cardinals in the World Series themselves. So that's going to do it from here. I'm telling you that I got to go back and watch. I need to go back and watch this and count how many times the 1 came up on the D20, because you can't tell me it was just 5%. I'm sorry. That was terrible. That was terrible. That 1 came up at least 10 times. So, but, I can't prove it without going back and watching it. So I may have to go. It's a long video to go back and watch and keep track of all this stuff, but I may have to do it. Right now I need to go into the Strat computer, input all this mess, and make sure the standings are up to date so they'll be ready for next Saturday. So I want to thank everybody who came in. I couldn't believe I saw 30 people watching at one time. That was like crazy. I can't believe there are 30 people that want to watch this. My equipment is somewhat inferior, so I don't know. Maybe it's like the fact it's live and they have camaraderie or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a Strat thing. Maybe it's the Pirates and the Giants were a good matchup to show. Oh yeah, I think it was Tabby. I think Tabby is the chance to see Tabby, I think, is what really generated all of that. So let me see if Tabby, she's sitting quiet. She's got her paws tucked underneath her body, so she's in one of those positions that it looks like she doesn't want to be messed with. So I'm not going to tempt fate. I like my skin, and I don't want it, clawed up by Tabby. She has some sharp claws, so I'm not going to tempt that. But anyway, that's the way the score sheet ended up. If I had to pick a player of the game, boy, it'd be hard to pick a player of the game. I'm not sure who you would pick. Maddox was 3 for 5 with a triple and 2 singles and a stolen base and 2 runs scored. Can't do much better than that as a leadoff hitter. Bonds had a triple, a single, and potentially walked. I mean, there was a lot of good hitting. On the Pirates side, you had Hebner, who singled, homered, and doubled, kept his team in the game. So I guess if I had to get to anybody, I might give it to Maddox. He was 3 for 5, 2 runs scored and a stolen base. I mean, that's, as a leadoff man, you can't ask for much more than that. So we're giving the player of the game to Gary Maddox. He's going to get the player of the game on the NBC Game of the Week. So I know Mr. Guterman wants to get ready to do his broadcast on his channel. I encourage you to go over and watch that. 1969 Padres and Giants. He's finishing up. He played every single game in the 1969 World Series on video, I think it was. Or at least, within the last 50 games or so, he's done it in the schedule. So check him out. His penmanship is a whole lot better than mine. And he also has the evil D20, or, devil die, as he calls it. But entertaining game to watch. And you might get a trivia question or two while you're there as well to ponder. So that's going to do it from here. I got some honeydew things to finish up around here. So I need to get going and take care of those. So again, thank you all for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with me. Once again, the final score, Giants 8, Pittsburgh 7. And the Giants pull it out and hang on and take care of the Buccos. Buccos led 3-1 after 6, but the bullpen could not hold it. So that's going to do it from here. Till next time, Tabby wishes you all a farewell and reminds you to play whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and Tabby and I will both see you down the road.